We are in the middle of Annecy Film Festival 2026, the event that last year saw Rebecca Sugar unveil the upcoming Steven Universe sequel series, Lars of the Stars.
I really miss my world, and I really miss my characters too. And so I'm co-creating with Ian Jones Quartey a new Steven Universe series.
Alright, it's been a year since then. I think we're in store for an update. So what do you got for me, Annecy? Where's the Lars of the Stars news?
There's nothing.
Thank you, son.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, folks, but unfortunately, we have no new information on Lars of the Stars at Annecy 2026. There was absolutely zero mention of it at the Cartoon Network and Warner Bros. Animation panel, although they did reveal a couple of new things that I'm excited for. And honestly, this was to be expected, but just because we have no official update doesn't mean there isn't any news to share, as I've been slowly connecting bits and pieces to talk about in anticipation for this dry spell, including some seemingly confirmed gems for the show. That's right. We're gonna do some old-fashioned Steven Universe sleuthing just like in the good old days. But first, let's start with the question on everyone's minds. Where the hell is this show? As it turns out, us Steven Universe fans are gonna have to remember what it's like to have a lot of patience. Typically, when Cartoon Network unveils a brand new show, there's about a 2-year gap in between announcement and release. Fiona and Cake was unveiled in 2021, but it didn't premiere until 2023. Regular Show The Lost Tapes was unveiled in 2024, and we didn't start seeing anything from it until this year, only a month or two before it started rolling out. There's also things like the Scooby-Doo anime and Super Mutant Magic Academy. They share a similar reveal to release timeline. Super Mutant Magic Academy was revealed last year, and they just confirmed that it's premiering in 2027, unveiling a few screen caps. So there's a strong chance that our next official Lars update will be next year, with the show either releasing later that year or in 2028. You might be thinking that's too long of a wait, but rest be assured, the more time they sink into this thing, the better. Lars ain't gonna be on any old streamer. This is Amazon Prime, which means this show has the chance to attract fans of both Invincible and Has-Been Hotel. Well, a lot of Has-Been fans grew up with Steven Universe, but for the newcomers, this might be their first exposure to the series. And considering first seasons tend to have more time put into them than later installments, on top of no longer being confined to a TV schedule, they have ample amount of time to not only make sure the story's good, but the art and animation. Looking at Regular Show The Lost Tapes, Adventure Time Side Quest, and the screen caps for Super Mutant Magic Academy, it's clear that the vendor studios Cartoon Network and Warner work with are done animating their shows on paper, and completely digital animation looks different from regular animation, so I'd prefer giving Crewniverse 3.0 ample time to figure out the new animation style, and if the visual identity, the established Steven Universe art style, potentially needs to be tweaked to accommodate the new animation style. But if I'm being real with you guys, I don't think they're that deep in production. In fact, there's a chance they're only now getting into the swing of things. When Lars was announced last year, it was still in development. There wasn't an official green light yet. However, considering they already had a streamer attached, you can imagine it's a done deal. And just because it's in development, that doesn't mean that the episodes themselves haven't been worked on. I'd wager the situation is a lot like the early days of Steven Universe, where a lot of those first few episodes were made with a skeleton crew, being largely storyboarded and written by Rebecca and Ian, handling the writing and storyboarding all on their own to get a feel for the show. Odds are, that is exactly what's been happening with Lars, especially since studios love to save money. They are cheaper than ever. And if Rebecca and Ian doing a bulk of the work for the first couple of episodes is what it takes to get a green light, I'm sure they do it. And it makes sense for them to take this approach since they've been away from Steven Universe for quite some time. So getting a new feel for the world and figuring out what Lars' show looks like, what it sounds like, and how it separates itself from Steven Universe before bringing anyone else in to work on it makes a lot of sense to me. But even that in mind, it does appear that significant progress is being made with the show. They're still working on it, which brings me to some bits and pieces of news that you might have missed. Starting with some Homeworld gems that seem like they're gonna make an appearance in Lars of the Stars. Like the Garnets, Hessonite, Pyrope and Demantoid. Last year, Rebecca Sugar had one of their beloved charity streams, where someone asked her how likely it was for the Homeworld Garnets to make an appearance in Lars. And this is what she had to say.
Were there any plans to ever add the Garnet trio into the animated series?
Not something that I can speak to.
No, yeah, it's not something I could talk about at all.
Now that's a pretty standard just wait for the show kind of answer, but it's one that definitely implies she's at least planning on their inclusion, which makes a lot of sense. If this is exploring a fallen gem empire and its secrets, why wouldn't you feature high-ranking gems that already exist in the universe but haven't made the leap to the animated series? They already have voices cast and designs to work with. It's kind of a no-brainer, especially with the light games not being nearly as accessible as they once were, unless you can hunt down a physical copy of the Save the Light and OKKO game bundle. Now this next one was already obvious as it's a Lars show, but Jinx Monsoon appeared on the Fear End podcast a few months ago and confirmed that Emerald will likely be a prominent character in the show.
Lars of the Stars, a spin-off series of Steven Universe, will be hitting the stream waves, or I don't know how TV works now. I don't know if
it's everywhere.
But Lars of the Stars, when that comes to fruition, you might be hearing a recurring Emerald appearance. So.
Once again, this was pretty obvious, especially with Rebecca Sugar's post about the announcement, but it's nice to have the confirmation, and it shows that the cast is in touch with Rebecca Sugar, or at least some producers. Have they actually recorded yet? Who knows? But if any voices are signed on, that is a very encouraging sign. And the last bit of information, the reason why I think they may be early in production, with Rebecca and Ian doing a bulk of the work themselves until very recently, is a post from Matt Burnett, co-creator of Craig of the Creek and head writer for the original Steven Universe. Craig of the Creek has been over for some time, and while the state of the animation industry demands no breaks, no matter what your portfolio looks like, I feel like once you have a show like Craig of the Creek that ran for such a long time, unless you've been out of work for a second, I feel like you're going to be more inclined to keep pitching your own shows or taking development deals, as opposed to straight up working on another show. So I find it very interesting that one of the only 2 posts Matt has on Blue Sky so far, from just a couple of weeks ago, is official first day on Redacted. Now look, that could be anything, but considering this man was a head writer of Steven Universe, who alongside Ben Levin, was instrumental in shaping the story and helping mold it into what it ultimately became, I think it makes perfect sense that Matt and Ben would return to the writer's room and help usher in a new era for the franchise. But until we get confirmation, please don't ask him about it, because if he is working on it, he's not gonna say anything until we get more information on the show. And that goes for anyone potentially working on it. Because an official greenlight hasn't been announced, even if the show is in full swing production, no one is going to be allowed to share that they work on it until we get a proper new announcement, probably when the show is a lot closer. At the very least, we're going to need a key visual or something, a statement that reminds everyone that the show is still coming and is a real tangible thing, which I don't think we're going to see until next year, but maybe something will pop up at Comic-Con if we're lucky. But yes, the show is still happening, things just seem to be moving very slowly, and if Lars of the Stars really is the new show that Matt's working on, then I imagine they have the direction of the story figured out, and now they're at the stage of writing episode outlines, which means over the next few months, more of the Crewniverse 3.0 will be assembled, as after the outlines are written, unless they go full script driven, but I highly doubt it, storyboarders would be next to join the fray, and the rest of the art team should trickle in shortly after. The storyboard revisionists, the designers, the background artist, you get the idea. So Lars is coming, y'all. We're just still a ways off from it, but hey, maybe if winter catches wind that there's just such a huge demand for an update, we could potentially see something at San Diego or New York Comic-Con later this year. San Diego's next month, and New York is in October. But come on guys, we're Steven Universe fans. Is this wait really that much worse than a regular hiatus? Yeah, didn't think so. But as always, these are just my thoughts and I want to hear yours. Are you just dying to get your hands on Lars of the Stars, or are you chilling and have other things to invest in during the wait? As soon as this video gets uploaded, I'm probably diving into Deltarune. Let's chat in the comments down below, and keep the conversation going over on Twitter and Instagram at Fox and at Roundtable Vids. Thank you so much to Art with Coda for an amazing thumbnail, and if you enjoyed this video, please throw it a like and subscribe to the Roundtable with notifications on so you never miss a video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have an awesome day. Peace. Romance, summer, vampires. Right now, friend of the Roundtable, Reanimator is doing a Kickstarter for the 2nd episode of her indie animation series, The Three Tones. Tammy's a newbie witch getting thrown to a grand adventure for 2 best friends, Sia and Shirley. But along the way, she ends up in a love triangle with 2 vampires, Yogaya and Darius. Oh, the drama. Be a part of the future of indie animation and support The Three Tones by checking out the Kickstarter in the description, and be sure to watch the first episode right here on YouTube.
What we do here is go back.
Need something to throw on while you draw, study, or sleep? Roundtable Rewind's got you covered. So why not take a stroll down memory lane and subscribe?
No one can tell me what to do.
See you there.